To produce a healthy crop, one needs a good, living soil. Farmers who grow organic food know this. One of the indicators of a good soil is that it has many living things.
The good soil has many living things, such as earthworms and roots of plants. The bad soil has no or few roots, and it has no living things.
The earthworms multiply and they eat the small pieces of straw. This is how they decompose them.
If you want to evaluate how certain farming practices have an effect on the life of your soil, it is necessary to use a standardized method. In this video, we will learn how to count the living things in our soil. Use a spade to remove a block of soil, 20 centimeters wide, 20 centimeters long, and 20 centimeters deep. Put all this soil in a bag and close it tightly so that the living things do not escape, because the earthworms and other living things move quickly. Label the bag. There are more living things in some parts of the field and fewer in other parts, so we need to take samples from at least 3 parts of the field. Hold the spade upright so that the hole has straight sides. This is so we always measure the same amount of soil from each place. Make as few cuts as possible with the spade to avoid killing the living things. Put each sample in a separate labeled bag. Some farmers on the Altiplano from Bolivia work together with a development organization to count the living things in their soils. They collect 3 samples from a field that has received organic fertilizer and where organic vegetables are grown. All samples are put in blue bags. From a field that has been cultivated from various years and that have not received any organic fertilizer, they collect 3 more samples in white bags. Classify the living things in a comfortable place where there is plenty of light. Put a handful of soil on a tray and carefully pick out all of the living things that you can see with the naked eye, such as earthworms, ants, termites, beetles, spiders, grubs, and others. As you remove the living things, count how many there are and write them on a sheet of paper. How many earthworms, how many ants, how many termites, how many beetles, how many spiders, and how many worms. Keep on going until you have finished all of the soil from each bag. For each sample, write down the number of living things. You can see how each sample has a different number of living things. There are only many earthworms in the soil from the field that received organic fertilizer. You can calculate the average number of living things from each field. When there are many living things, it means that the soil has life, because these creatures eat and decompose organic matter. And in this way, the soil nutrients become available to our crops. However, if we find few or no living things, it means that the soil is poor, dead, and infertile.
Most of all, the earthworms help to improve the earth because they work a lot. You should put on some more organic fertilizer, and when the soil is wet, more earthworms are born. This is what you can do. Do not use those chemical fertilizers that harm the soil and kill the earthworms.
If your soil has few living things, you can bring your soil to life by adding animal manure or compost, by leaving crop residues in the field and not burning them. You can also improve soil life by plowing less, as plowing disturbs bacteria, fungi, and animals that add fertility to the soil. One way of farming without plowing the soil is agroforestry, which combines forest species with fruit trees, annual crops, vegetables, medicinal plants, and flowers. As you copy the principles of the local forest, the soil fertility is constantly improved. Serafín Vidal, in Cochabamba, recalls how his soil was without life when he started with agroforestry.
There were no sow-bugs, there were no earthworms, there were no beetles, nor larvae of beetles, none of that, because there was no food for them. When you cover the soil with the trimmings from the trees, this turns the soil soft, and you notice that the soil improves. It becomes spongier, and the plants are growing healthier.
No aporcando, no moviendo el suelo, cubriendo el suelo con la materia orgánica.
Let's review what we have learned. When many living things are found in the soil, it means that the soil has life, because these little creatures help to decompose organic matter, make nutrients available to plants, and make the soil spongier. If we find few or no living things, it means that our soil is poor and infertile. Take care of the living creatures in your soil, and they will take care of your soil and your crops.
I ask all of us farmers to become aware and treat our soils right. I am conscious of what I do, so I do not use chemicals on my field. If I were to use chemicals, it would do me no good. It would be counterproductive.